All right, so here we go. Yes, CD Projekt RED is officially getting very busy with the Cyberpunk sequel. I'm sitting here looking at a brand new press release from CD Projekt RED. And yeah, it is very interesting. I think a lot of you guys will be very excited about this news. And we're going to talk about some choice words from the joint CEO of CD Projekt RED. He had some interesting things to say. Also about exclusivity. And we've got to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Are we done seeing updates for this one? Is it officially done? You know, we have heard from CDPR recently that, hey, they're done with it, but they keep updating it. So what's going on there? And we got to talk about the Witcher remake. This one's running on Unreal Engine 5. Some really interesting news about that one and the Witcher spinoff. So yeah, also we're going to go over your top comments about Cyberpunk and the sequel. Should it be third person or first person or offer both views? So let's get straight into this, shall we? First and foremost, starting out with the official press release from CD Projekt RED. And this is really cool news because it says this right here that they have announced several high profile additions to the team working on Project Orion, which of course is the code name for the Cyberpunk sequel. If we scroll down here, it says that it's in early stages of development with studio veterans previously involved in Cyberpunk 2077 and of course Phantom Liberty. This gives me such a sigh of relief. It looks like Cyberpunk Orion is in very, very good hands. I'm so glad to see that there are veterans, so many veterans from CD Projekt RED taking the helm here. But joining the team are veterans from AAA projects. We have Dan Hernberg, who is from, of course, previously head of productions at Amazon Games, and he's been a part of a bunch of other stuff as well. Ryan Bernard, that name sounds so familiar to me because I used to cover a little game called Tom Clancy's The Division. So yeah, he's from Ubisoft Massive. So he's really going to bring his expertise in here as well. But he also was gameplay director at Hitman developer IO Interactive. Let's keep going here, shall we? We also have Alan Villana, who is also entering Project Orion as engineering director, having previously lent his technical expertise as VP of technology on various WB game products as well. So yeah, including the technical direction, I should say, on several Mortal Kombat titles. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see some more violent finishing moves in Cyberpunk Orion. You never know. Or more like melee-centric combat, at least having that more of an option. We did see that with Phantom Liberty, so maybe they'll like double down on this sort of thing with, of course, Cyberpunk Orion, or at least give more player options with gameplay. Hey, you never know. Now, I think a lot of you guys know that a game like Cyberpunk very much has that single player narrative experience, lives or dies based on its writing. So let's take a look at who is joining the team as the lead writer. Check it out right here. It goes on to say this. So we have Anna Miguel is joining the team, and she's going to be Project Orion's lead writer. And she has contributed to, of course, Control, Dishonored franchise, Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, Guild Wars 2, and even the upcoming Fable game, which is saying something. By the way, I'm just going to interject here. I cannot freaking wait for the brand new Fable game from Playground Studios, the guys that bring us, the Forza Horizon franchise. Here to see what they can do with an open world RPG, but their stuff is just brilliant. Anyway, yeah, excited for that one. But also, I love Control. I loved the multi-layered storytelling with Control and the mystery with it. And honestly, some of the confusion that goes with some of the storytelling with that mystery, because it's like a constant carrot stick. I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to take that type of mentality with, of course, Cyberpunk. I could see them doing a lot more, psychological Cyberpunk type stuff on the dark web side of things. Really get into that sort of experience with Cyberpunk. Now we also have Alexander Freed, who is joining the team as well, the writing team, I should say. He's a New York Times best-selling novelist, narrative designer, and comic book writer with over 15 years of game writing experience, and has previously worked as lead writer at BioWare, among other titles, including Star Wars: The Old Republic. So I think a lot of you guys will be excited about that one as well. So yeah, a lot going on here with this brand new project. But that's not all. I started digging into this a little bit more. I went to the official CD Projekt RED website and dug into the job listing. I'm like, have they updated any of the job listings here? And yes, guess what? They absolutely did. They're already posting job listings for Orion. This previously was empty, but they are in full hiring mode right now. They want to get this going immediately, it seems. And you can see that this is definitely in its infancy. They have a long, long way to go with, of course, Cyberpunk Orion. So yeah, it's definitely going to be quite a process, and it's years down the road. Now, also on the side of job listings at CDPR, I did want to note this right here that, yeah, they got tons of projects going on here, including Polaris, which, of course, is the brand new next-gen Witcher game, which is going to be the start-up of a new Witcher saga, a trilogy. It's not considered The Witcher 4, by the way. They're very much like, hey, this is not The Witcher 4. This is a brand new thing. It is the start of a new trilogy, and it is going to be a AAA next-gen experience. And I think it is going to be a launch title for, well, not necessarily a launch title, but it will be premiering on, I believe, the next-gen consoles like PS6, the next Xbox, what have you. Now, we also have some comments here from the joint CEO of CD Projekt RED. So yeah, let's see what he had to say here. Let's hop on over to X. I still like calling it Twitter, but I should start calling it X at this point. Now, it says this whole exclusivity or not industry gossip and chatter of today makes me happy it's not my headache. CD Projekt RED games are and will continue to be platform agnostic. We love the fact you play the games we made. It's up to you to choose your playground. CD Projekt RED, they are standing their ground. They're saying, hey, we are not going Xbox only or, PlayStation only. You do not have to worry. You're going to be able to play on whatever platform you want to play on. And from what I've heard with rumors, they have been offered some money, or at least have been in talks about that. And they've every single time have said, hey, you know what? We're CDPR. We would be the ones doing the acquiring in the future. That's their mentality. And I got to say, I love it. Now, of course, when it comes to partnerships, they're very open to those. They are in partnership with Epic Games. They're in some sort of 50% partnership, and I'm curious to see what that leads to. Very, very curious. I think that hasn't fully developed yet, but I think that's going to be developing in the next 5 to 10 years. That's like a long-term thing, because Epic Games, they have some stuff hidden up their sleeves. Trust me, they're going to do some crazy stuff here in the future. Now, we also got to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. What is going on with this one? So we have this right here. Let's take a look, shall we? So it says this: Cyberpunk can't help but keep adding things, this time car paint jobs. So if you missed it, yeah, there was a recent update, somewhat recent update, where they did add some car paint customization options for certain brands of vehicles in the game. And they did do some fixes and adjustments with the game as well. And, in my opinion, it seems like they want to continue offering like these surprise updates for Cyberpunk 2077 going forward. We saw that happening with even like The Witcher 3. And yes, The Witcher 3 is actually getting mod support in 2024. That's how devoted CD Projekt RED is to their franchise. That's why I really appreciate this company. They just don't give up, even if they do screw up, like the launch of 2077. They seem to do like everything in their power to make it right. Now, we got to talk about the Witcher franchise because there's a lot of stuff going on with this one. Now, with the Witcher remake here, it says the Witcher remake devs not afraid to remove aspects which are bad, outdated, and need to be remade. Yeah, but the CEO of Fool's Theory had some words here about the Witcher remake. He says, first and foremost, we need an honest, down-to-earth analysis of which parts are simply bad, outdated, and need to be remade. Now, he also said simultaneously we'll be highlighting the parts that are great, should be retained, or are direct key pillars that can't be discarded. So they're not going in there and changing the game completely. They know at the core, I think, that the story is everything, and that they're really going to make sure to highlight that with really, really good gameplay. Of course, the Witcher remake is older. I'm kind of curious to see if they dare throw in open worldish aspects to this one, because The Witcher 1 was definitely not open world. Maybe they'll do it like more like Metro Exodus or something with hub spaces. I don't know. That's me speculating, by the way. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about this one because it's also going to be running on, of course, Unreal Engine 5. So it should be looking very, very sharp. And it would be really cool to see the start of Geralt's story, essentially, I guess you would say. Now, also, we have another update about the Witcher spinoff. But yeah, you don't have to worry about the Witcher franchise. Yes, we're still getting the core Witcher team working on what we want, which is the open world, single player narrative experience. And that's what we're getting. But on the side, they have hired this brand new team, acquired them, and they're working on something that's entirely new. And here's the article right here. Goes on to say the following. It says Witcher spinoff project Sirius has a new framework following development restart. And it seems like this project hit some road bumps, but CD Projekt RED, they're not willing to give up again. You know, a lot of people were saying, oh man, they're just going to cancel this game outright. No, I guess they sat with the development team, reworked the initial ideas around this game, and now the development is running smoothly according to CD Projekt RED. So that's good to know. It would be cool if we did perhaps get like a Witcher game that was cooperative. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's what they're potentially working on here because of the history of this development team that they have acquired. The development team has worked on some interesting project. You know, let me know what you guys would like to see. I could speculate and go on what this project might be, but I'm not going to get too speculative about it because I don't want to, like, you know, overhype anything. But I'm going to say it would be interesting to see some sort of cooperative game where you had your own Witchers. Each one of them had their strengths and weaknesses, and as a team, you kind of propped each other up as you faced off against like increasingly difficult monsters, which gave you rewards. We'll see if that's the game or not, but that's what I'm speculating on. Now, we also have your top comments from my most recent Cyberpunk Orion video, so I definitely wanted to talk about that one, but the biggest question was, what view do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer first or third person view? And the rumor is that this new Cyberpunk game is going to be offering both, which I would love. That's what I prefer. If Bethesda can do it, CD Projekt RED can definitely figure it out. So let's get into what you guys had to say here, shall we? So we have Raven who says, I prefer first person, but third person should be allowed during certain times. I think the focus on the first person is needed for quests. It's so much more immersive and investing in what is going on. The third person could take you out. Now, I think the third person walking street or an apartment is okay, in my opinion. Yeah, and I spoke about this briefly in another video as well. And I think they should have various options, like go all in on the options. The mod that they currently have for Cyberpunk 2077 on PC when it comes to third person view is actually pretty cool. You can walk around in third person when you have your weapon holstered. And then if you get into combat, it goes whoosh straight into first person. I love that. And I think that should definitely be like an official thing in Orion as an option. Now, of course, you should be able to be like, hey, I want strictly first person or I want strictly third person, but I want that extra option in between. That would be neat. All right, next up, let's keep going, shall we? So scrolling on down here, we have Sadu, hopefully I am pronouncing these names correctly, who says, majority of the fast-paced gameplay mechanics and combat we have now just won't work with third person. It ended up something like combat in Starfield, so I'm glad it is the way it is. Yeah. Whenever you change up views, you do have to really consider the actual gameplay loop and also the environment itself. I really do think they can even improve the gameplay that is offered by 2077 and even take it a step further. So we'll see what happens. I would love to be like a fly on the wall listening into the current CD Projekt RED meetings that are being held in, the North America studios. I am sure they are really, really trying to figure out what they want to do with this one going forward. And it says, I'd really like to see more cut scenes in third person. Something about seeing your character's face and emotion can make certain story moments hit different. Weird how they only showed up at the very end. This is an interesting comment because guess what I've been playing recently? I've been playing the hell out of this game recently, The Witcher 3. And it's been a lot of fun seeing Geralt's reactions. Sometimes he has sarcastic reactions, and I just think to myself, man, I would like to honestly see more of this. And I'm sure At least I'm crossing my fingers that, of course, they keep to that with the next Witcher game. But yeah, it would be pretty cool maybe to see that for a Cyberpunk game. That might be a controversial opinion. Yeah, they tried that. When I think about like games that have been like first person strictly or more of a first person experience in the gaming industry when it comes to open world RPGs, I do think of Bethesda's history. And they did try this with Fallout 4 and it didn't go over so well. So yeah, in that regard, they do need to be careful. And maybe it's best to have the Witcher franchise separate in that experience and have maybe more of the interactions with the Cyberpunk franchise be in first person, but sound off on that one. Because yeah, we are on the subject of third person versus first person, but what about those NPC moments? Do you want to see your character, their face, their reaction, have dialogue from them? Do you think it should be a silent protagonist? Kind of curious. Yeah, there it is. The latest happenings around Cyberpunk Orion 2077. We also had a bunch of Witcher news. Things are heating up over at CD Projekt RED. They are cooking, let me tell you what. And they're doing a new development process. Remember, they really wanted to have 2 AAA games in development side by side. It seems like they're working their way to this. So I am very curious to see the release schedule for something like the next Witcher game and then Cyberpunk, because sounds like to me it isn't going to be like, oh, okay, the next Witcher game comes out and then 5 years later or 6 years later, you're going to see the next Cyberpunk game. It might be like where the next Witcher game comes out and then 1 or 2 years later, you might see the next Cyberpunk game. So yeah, they're doing this interesting tactic. I just hope it doesn't overwhelm CDPR as a whole. But they do have the support of Epic Games now. So it's a completely different new thing that CDPR is undertaking. We'll see how it plays out in the future. I'm going to keep track of it. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Cyberpunk news and Witcher. And I got you guys covered on all things open world gaming. Well, not everything. I'm trying my best here, okay? But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.